Ladies and gentlemen, we are here with the KYANITE Playoffs. Who else but Sino to be casting it? We have two beautiful teams lined up. We have Election on our right side and Vertigo on our left. I know my big head is in the way, but I'm not going to take too much up of your time. But we're going to start the game. But while we do that, we are going to move on into our little introduction of the map series. Let's take a look at what's ahead of us for the day. And without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, we move on to our game. It's been long awaited for the playoffs to be here, ladies and gentlemen. I know I've been waiting. I hope you have been too, because it's going to be a good day. But without further ado, let's just take a look at the maps we have ahead of us for this BO3 series. We're going to be starting off, as you can see very obviously, on Nighthaven Labs, and then moving on to Cafe Dostoevsky with Border as our decider map if we do decide to go to that map 3 final. But it's going to be nice and simple. I'm going to be your caster for the day, and I think we're going to be in for a great series. The first bans being Maverick and Dokkaebi really show how much these teams don't want to deal with very annoying operators, and that is something to talk about because of how annoying some of these operators really are. Tabaru to deny half of those breaches alongside with Maverick. It's going to be harder to get the breaches open and keep them closed at the same time. So it's going to be a little bit of a double whammy for this game when it does happen. So let's just wait for all the bans to come through, and we will be getting started shortly. Now, we move into our first round, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to be starting off with the mighty Nighthaven Labs. Let me just fix these eyesores for you, just because of how annoying these display areas. I know they can be very annoying at times, so let's just adjust all of this for you. There we go. We move on to Nighthaven Labs. I know I love this map. I would too if I were you guys, because of the amount of elite coordination it needs for it to be well played. And that goes for both attacking and defense. You do have a zombie on the board, meaning you're going to have a couple of surprises on the board. The attackers have adjusted to that and brought that Flores in to the lineup, and this should be beautiful in that case in terms of just being able to clear the Azami in general. Gunfight coming in from Monk. Headshot onto Yeshua's face. Surprisingly, the bottom CC door was not barricaded, and it does pay to be beneficial. We do have the Lamai getting 1 kill squared, instantly evening it out on Blitz. He's taking a good amount of control. They have the IT breach open alongside with full Rafters control. The Nook goes down for the Azami. I think that's a worse trade for the defenders, as they lose that one operator that can really reshape the map and make it so it's hers and make it adjustable to her and her own favor. We have Thatcher creeping up, double up teaming with this Thatch and the Blitz. We have Ace coming over as well with the Flores watching the flank. Quentrell, Thatcher himself does land a headshot deep into IT from the body, sitting in deep in the A site. Warden will be defending from the pillar, and Bandit sitting close. Is he going to get close and go for an engagement here? No, he is not. He's going to rotate into Electrical. He's going to save his body, and maybe that is what is needed in this case, because this is going to be a very painful round if they cannot adjust and adjust well indeed. sitting close on the rafters. They're opening up the triple breach a little bit closer, even though they have to rotate. Opening up the third wall allows them to get that deep angle into anybody sitting in the A site. Meaning, if they can take this FNAT mine that is starting to piss off the attackers, it doesn't matter. They're just losing all of their gunfights everywhere. Quenchal makes it a 1v4, and the round's over as Quenchal gets a triple kill for the first round of this playoff match to give this first secured round in the favor of Election. What a round. The way they played that was absolutely beautiful. All right, so my chat's trolling me. Nobody wanted to tell me that they were on the wrong side. There we go. You guys are a bunch of trolls. I'm telling you, we do move on, though, to the same site. Dancing while saying this because it's too exciting to be here. We do see the KYANITE being brought as the operator that wasn't seen last round. They've brought him instead of the Wamai. Seeing Monk rotating from Wamai onto Legion as well, meaning double denial alongside with the Azami in case that breach does get open later into the round. But we see a Vera on the MPX, surprisingly. No shotgun in the hand with Warden, and a C4 instead of a shield. That'll be an interesting loadout, and hopefully it'll work in his favor, because if it doesn't, we know he loses that very, very crucial shotgun that can restructure the map indeed. Avira going drone hunting. Drone economy is looking very well for the attackers. They have 9 out of 10 drones alive off of that drone prep, and that is beautiful. All quiet on the western front until we start seeing these engagements start popping off nice and early. 30 seconds in, and look at the amount of cover Blackbeard, aka Squared. He was the blitz last round. It looks like he is their modified shield. C4 only catching the remnants of the drone. Absolute sacrifice, because it doesn't even connect with the Blackbeard, and he's covered a good amount of space in this amount of time. Rotating out back to the main breach is just going to be that operator that covers so much ground and adds that additional pressure to the attackers. Being a pain in the ass for the defenders is basically his main job, but also getting into a good engagement is something that matters. But Monk is here to back up his teammate Azami. He tells EB, I'm not gonna let you go down, and he doesn't. He sticks to that word. Indeed picks off Blackbeard. That's a very fast pick onto an operator that's very crucial later into the round. We're gonna have Monk again on a double kill. Very crucial player for Vertigo, as he's just frying kids as they swing into his bullets, and might be able to catch a triple kill here. Almost hitting Thieves' head off of his body, but he manages to survive to see another day. And again, they have the breaches open, but what is that when you're down 2 bodies? Make that 3. Monk is just absolutely ripping it up from within the site. Hasn't left the site, and he's just ripping it up. He's flowing in. They've decided to reinforce the triple wall facing into Raptors, and now we're going to see another engagement from Monk if the Thatcher decides to swing into the bullets, but these engagements are very crucial. Again, we might see a flawless here, a much better round than their last. Can we see Monk's squad kill? He's been frying it up. Can he get 4 is the question. The ping goes out, thinking he's close right. C4 sounds like it's going to get tossed out in the breaks. Nook catches him off guard. Yes, one gets one. Down to 50 HP. Not the best situations you want to be in, but Scarves capitalizes, runs out, gets the kill, and puts Vertigo on the board 1-all. Moving into our next round, we will be seeing, by default, that basement site. I don't think anybody really wants to prioritize going kitchen over this basement site when you have all of the juicy operators that you can capitalize to win, such as the castle, the door over denial, and having that vigil, just being that pain to deal with around the map. It's a good lineup, and I do think whoever can manage to get a sleek 1-2 kill or waste a little bit of time is going to be the one to win them the round. 3 bodies are going to be the main sitting up site. Castle going upstairs. They're going to do that extend upstairs where they hold everybody out throughout the hallways. They want to make sure the attackers do not have the easiest time trying to get Vert. We do see Scarfs in the distance here, setting up the long haul, getting everything down so he doesn't have to struggle in the future. Having this window castled off, not reinforced in this case, is beautiful, because if you try to throw in a ram, you have to either sacrifice the ram or break it, then let the attackers and defenders know exactly where you are, and you won't have easy Vert into billiards. So not the greatest of problems for the attackers, but a good hold by the defenders might be able to get them on the board for 2 rounds in a row. But Quantrell doesn't go for the window, surprisingly, and he's already covering a lot of ground, fully in through cafeteria and fully cleared out the kitchen side. Waiting here as his teammates are starting to drone out upstairs. Yeshua working his way down. Twitch and IQ are going to be the ones doubling up onto Quantrell himself. Now, they have everything they need to be able to get a good execute going here, but it's all about if they can stay together to be able to capitalize if it does go wrong. If somebody gets picked off, is it possible to get a refrag? Because you haven't managed to drone the Vigil sitting close, and EB has a free kill if he decides to swing out here, which he does. Quantrell capitalizes onto Scarf sitting all the way down into Exothermic, but he manages to get a kill. EB making himself known, putting himself for his first or second kill, may I say, in this round, and manages to just go back to site like nothing happened. He's managed to waste time, and now the attackers will be remaining on the rest of the round, searching for him as if he hasn't went back to site. 1 minute 30 seconds left on the clock, and everything that is needed now is to start playing Vert as they confirm visually with the Jackal tracks from Yeshua that the Vigil has went back down to site. One person being the main denial of Exothermic, which is the Warden ratting in the corner, but bodies are dropping like on the clock. Monk gets a kill onto Quantrell. Your main Vert is now deceased as he gets a kill from the Vert. Tag going down to 5 HP, now sitting in the split. And we're gonna see Avira play heavily on the Vert, take a couple of shots off the damage, but he gets to live to see another day, and that's all that matters. You have the man advantage, and you have 1 minute left on the clock. EB runs out of Animus and lands a shot outside the breach, and the last person is Yeshua once again for the 2nd round in a row. Gumine puts him into a position in a world of hurt where he has to choose, pull it out and let the defenders advance, or get kills. And it turns out Monk has the better gunfights when you have a Gumine in your foot. On the board, that's 2 rounds for Vertigo, and Monk is capitalizing constantly. An absolute powerhouse of a player. We move on to our next round, and we are going to be seeing the split site. Now, this isn't something I was expecting. I don't even know the name of the site. They're going to be playing Control and Warehouse. Now, they're going to be playing this, I'm going to assume, with a little bit more than just sitting in the site around with a castle and a Kaid. They're going to be playing extended into lounge/billiards and upstairs, so they can play Vert on anybody who drops in from billiards if they do lose the room, or try to get that plant down, because that singular window is always a pain to deal with because of how reinforced it off by this block of concrete. Any attacker could just hop in here and plant and have 2 people cover his plant for him. So it's an absolute pain to have that as your main attacking side. But played right by the defenders. It's a 3rd round for Vertigo. An election needs to start capitalizing on the microscopic punishments being made by Vertigo, but apparently not anytime soon, as Scarfs gets aggressive here and gets an early pick in a spawn peak. Wow. Putting the rest of the team on edge. Quantrell trying to make sure the same doesn't happen to him, and I couldn't imagine it would, because if it did, it would have been absolutely hilarious to talk about. The attackers are now down to body, being their main hard breacher, something I'm also just realizing is going to be painful for the attackers to capitalize off of. But Blackbeard's just getting into the building. I don't know how he doesn't pass away from that C4, but we're seeing very early engagements, telling everybody to come back to site. Castle landing a headshot. Avira is now going to be in the center of all the action, but squared. Quantrell squared again, puts them on the board, and finally gives the attackers those bodies up that they need. And now it is a 2v3, and it was looking like a safe haven being a 5v3, but the plant's gonna go down. Fenrir gets himself himself on the board. Downs one. Does he know is the question. He manages to deny the plant, making him deny, but it is a 1v2 right now. Can Monk deny? If anybody wants this to be their round, it's all about how you can get somebody off the board, and Monk is not somebody you want on the board. He's been fragging out recently, and all he has to do is be able to get this one because two of your teammates are down in such a tricky scenario. KYANITE, you have the case in hand. You have a minute 25. Can you risk going for a res? The question is, are you gonna let him go for the res? Using a flash because he knows how critical it is to get something done. One of the finishes goes towards EB. Second flash runs out, and he's gonna get the Thatcher up. Twinkle toes between the Ram and Monk, and Thatcher is gonna be holding the corner, and the plant's gonna go down. I think he was completely unaware that both hatches and one person was down. The fuser will finally go down after a round of just going and beating around the bush. Now, we're going to see Squared get a little bit more aggressive than necessary, but might be able to actually line himself up on the board by finding the Thatcher. But guess what? It's not necessary as KYANITE finds that body. A little bit too passive from Monk is going to lead to the demise of Vertigo, making it 2-all as we lead into the 5th round. It's beautiful on both ends, really. Both teams are really capitalizing on each other's mistakes, and I think it's very commendable on both sides. The objective rotation parameters unlocks this site for them. They're gonna go back upstairs and they're gonna have a pretty good time holding it. We're gonna see the same operators. Avira now finally deciding to use a shield, and I did hear somebody just disconnect. Is this gonna be a rehost? Huh. Playing with a man down, not ideal for a playoff match, and considering how effective Scarfs was for the first 2 rounds, he's going to be out for this one, and might have a timeout here after this. Just never mind. Scarfs emerges from the Phoenix, from the ashes below, and he's back, but his team is still at a disadvantage of being in the 4v5 situation. Early gunfights, nothing's gonna be out the ordinary. Something I do like to talk about though is how teams like to hold different sites while they get things done. Avira didn't even play CC, he's just gonna barricade it off just because being a man down is not the best of situations. First Rotero charge is going to try to get the breach, but EB is here to capitalize off of either verticality or a flank. Gets one pick and is just gonna come back to site. Making himself a walkable rotate that could play to his negative advantage, allowing anybody to just walk in here, but Yeshua is going to be flying in towards... He's gonna be flying in towards EB. He might be able to get a free pick here. He's on drones. He's trapped himself. He needs to get out and manages to narrowly escape death. Warden coming here for the backup. A TK ensues. Avira getting one. Can he get 2 on the C4? Barely getting escaped from death, and Tag gets himself on the board as well onto the head of KYANITE. Thatcher's now gone, and now Yashua's 20, below 20 HP. There's no necessary number since these new HUDs suck, but this is crazy. C4 was almost a double, would have been crazy, and Avira would have redeemed himself for executing his teammate in the back of the head. Avira staying in a shotgun here. Unless Blackbeard goes flying through a wall, it's physically impossible to lose this. You have Goose stacked up behind you. You have no C4s, unfortunately, but does get shot. Goo Mine from Legion could get tossed down as well to capitalize. And you're going to have everybody in a passive position as the clock starts boiling down under 1 minute. Legion needs to hit 1 toe as the Blackbeard is now put in a situation where he can't go through walls. The only one at 100 HP gets shot down to 0 as he takes a headshot, and it will be Monk to close out the round by taking out Yeshua and the Blackbeard. And 4v5, no matter No scarfs, doesn't matter. There's still a party. It's 3-2. Last round before we do see the attacker-defender switches. I think it's commendable on both sides. They're both doing very, very well. They're doing exceptionally well. As we start our next round, in the last for Vertigo, I know, very sad. We're gonna see them try to defend downstairs yet once again. Now, they have all the operators necessary to be able to win, but something we are gonna see that's a little bit different is Election going to go for a little bit of a rush plant. You see the Grim on the board. You also see Viosa and the Twitch tagged up along. Is this going to be one of those rounds where you want to just go for an execute onto site? You do have 3 breaches in the hands of the ace that is no longer with us as he gets spawn peeked by EB. What is going on with you, Election? The breaches are going to stay closed for the remainder of the round as the Grim does not bring the can openers necessary. And the breach charges is what I was just going to speak about. The main counter to the castles without giving away your main location is a breach charge. And guess what? They're no longer going to be brought to the team as ace does go down. On drones, apparently, for verticality. They know exactly where he's going to come in from. If he does decide to hop in, he will be on the no-no list, which is going to be take a headshot straight to the face. A good pick from Jan, who's already just flying in through Animus. Might be able to get a second pick here. Another disconnect, but Avira taking heavy amounts of damage. Osa's going to be the second taking the gunfight. They're doubled up in Animus. You guys want to prep this impacted or go for it. Tag being the one to disconnect now. It's not looking the best, but EB, double kill for him, makes it a 4v3. Even with teammates disconnecting, you're always going to have men up, and it's going beautifully. The next gunfight's going to be on to Warehouse. Is it going to be able to be better gunfights? Yes, it will be, as it's evened out literally instantly. Quentrell gets one onto EB as Scarps blows up Jan. The Animus hatch is soft for some reason, doesn't get reinforced off, and that pays the price as it now gets open. Apparently, I think it is the frames glitch since we are on console. It might be the big pain. Both of these operators have now fallen below the 20 HP threshold, meaning any type of utility is enough to take them off and take them out of the round. The breaches are closed except for Animus for some reason. Double that now in Animus as Avira swinging a little too much and pays the price for it. The Osa shields are going to be dreadful to deal with. 2 flashes from the Ram as well. They have to do something here. Pre-fire! Oh my days, Scarfs! Can you do it? You have the iron sight. You have the fastest ADS gun in the game. You need 2 bullets to land. He's at 20 HP. All you gotta do is just keep baiting him towards it, and you're doing it absolutely beautifully. He doesn't have any frags to walk into. Scarfs just get the engagement going. He does it! 1vx for Scarf goes on the board, and that's your bandit. The iron sight demon putting himself on the board, making himself a little awake, and that is Scarf's round to be praised in triumph about. They got the double differential. What a round and what a game this has been so far. While we wait for our next person to come in, let us just take a look while we wait for them. Apparently, we will be waiting a little bit longer for the rehost to get through. We do have a little bit of ping glitches and frames glitches going through. Just wait for him to get that operator on the board. And we are back. It's almost like we never left. First round for election on defense is going to be basement. A little confusing, but to the best of luck, hopefully they have it in their hands this time, because they've been struggling to deal with the mighty Vertigo. They've been swinging and they've been missing haymakers since the beginning. Hopefully this is the round where they capitalize it and manage to bring it back. Looking at a little bit of different observes, you guys can tell. Main differential, Vigil's not using the boss G anymore. I mean, realistically kind of stupid because he's on console, but respectively, he's the GOAT. The KYANITE, a gun that requires skill, needs to hit headshots, needs to be fast with. Boss G, it's for pussies. Not supposed to swear, but whatever. We do have Yawn exploring the map and is going to be put in a position where he's being hunted. Pixel, he's shooting at you. Move out the way, maybe, but no. Deimos and Twitch have single-handedly dealt with this Vigil in a good 45 seconds. Another engagement as we hear Monk looking for the gunfights, and I don't think anybody's going to be playing too aggressive, except for Squared holding upstairs now all by himself. Does not have the backup and comfort of his teammate Yawn, but guess what? Quenchall gets himself on the board. Twitch's electric shock wire does manage to take out every bandit on the wall, allowing it to be nice and free. 2 in the pocket of thieves allows the Animus to be more vulnerable, and they haven't brought EMP, so they are now depending on either verticality or the second shock drone to do the job. And we do just have one of those parts in the round where it's just going to be a stalemate of just seeing who either gets the next pick or who can just wiggle their way into a certain room, such as EXO or Animus. Twitch playing Vert with the 417. No assistance from Buck as he is doing his own thing in Animus. Squared absolutely running amok upstairs and landing headshots like it's nothing. Punishing anybody who decides to swing. Nobody watching Animus right now. Backing up except the breach. Very smart read. That Squared was upstairs and the Animus hatch is going to be opened up. Somebody needs to get up there and start playing on the can openers. But in the meantime, we do have Monk trying to take the gunfight and engagements off of EXO, but not watching the close and narrowly escaping death by being able to do this. Squared now sitting close to the shotgun on the Ash. That's going to be an easy kill for him. No, it's not. Monk turns the tables and throws it on his head, and it manages that it goes his way. Runs up, goes down EXO, gets a headshot, goes back down like nothing happened after picking off. And he does throw a drone indeed. You're not droning the guy sitting close to you, and you go down. You realize it a second too late as the C4 doesn't connect with, and you're going to have Tag needing to play all by himself in Animus, but having to deal with the guys in cargo. Breaking open that double window. He has the play here, but he hasn't checked the corner. Avira, where are you to be helping him? Check the corners. All he has to do is just walk up and swing, but he's gonna go for a full rotate. Why? Thieves goes for a full rotate, thinks he's playing Fortnite, and does not get any type of progress. Is going to be back where he started, back in Nanotech, just chilling in the B site, and now walking and taking the first gunfight, winning it. Going down to 50 HP, very possible to win, but the Thermite has the position where he just needs to wait. Looking for the diffuser and finds it eventually. He could long arm it. Is he gonna stick it? No, he's not. Thermite deciding to run, and the gunfight is needed to be taken, and it is, but not in the way you would think, as the Thermite just decides to pre-fire. 5-2 on the board for Vertigo. It's a beautiful execute by Vertigo. They're looking way more together. They're looking way more cohesive than the last time when I casted them in the regular season. And maybe this is exactly what they needed. They needed that level of competitiveness in a BO3 to send them and lock in for those next rounds. Moving on to our next round. I don't think we're going to get anywhere close to a double-digited round, but we move on back upstairs with a little bit of a different approach. We're not going to see a Bandit or a Kaid, but we are going to see Yan being the main denial, but probably just for the drones. Warden is going to have a shield instead of a C4, and will be playing top CC, unlike Vertigo on their defense. Yeshua has one certain objective in mind, one assignment, and it's to keep CC away from shield ops, which in this case doesn't apply, and from any attackers trying to fly in. What was almost a quick DK there turns out to be for the better, searching for any of the roamers, which could be the Valk City and Exo. Not the best, as Deimos has been located. Valk now has the objective to find him, kill him, get him dead. Thermite opens up the first breach. No double hard breacher, so you have to choose between opening up the triple wall in garage or opening up the IT breach, and that's kind of a no-brainer. EB playing that vert. C4 getting ripped. Valk's creeping up behind. Two of them are actually creeping up behind and narrowly escapes death without knowing it. Squared knows he has to keep himself concealed, but he doesn't see the MPX. Trying to shoot a Valk camera, I don't think they're aware that there's literally somebody 20 meters away from them waiting to capitalize when they're not looking. But a little too late as EB takes out Yeshua. That CC gone. The shotgun and the special ability has now been taken offline. He's still playing Vert. There we go, that's a kill. Sir Squared gets himself on the board, capitalizes, takes out the IQ. Was big, but it doesn't matter if they're in sight. You took too long to flank. The only thing you can do here is C4, but Monk is ripping it up. If you don't rip that C4 soon, you're gonna pay. C4 does connect, all bodies loose. It's a 1v2. He can't catch him from the vert. C4 on his head. He doesn't know where it was coming from. It's coming from garage. Valk deciding to swing from CC, the site that literally matters the least to flank from. Taking out the Valk on a headshot. Miss-droning the mute, not knowing where he is, thinking he knows where he's gonna swing. Tag being put in a situation where he has to deal with an operator at 800 HP. Only beneficiaries, he has a shotgun and an SMG, and you have a fully automatic AR and a flash in the pocket. Mute slowly making the advances because he knows all he needs to do is get close with that shotgun and take his face off. But right now, it's cinematic, it's scenes. All that matters. You have plenty of time to get through, and the mute is just still capitalizing so much space and making the Thermite second guess himself in any situation. Getting behind the Kiba barrier is the smart alternative here, and sticking the plant and getting wide is something that he's going to learn how to do. Does he know where he is? He does. Swinging into his guns, right, left, take a guess, and you guessed wrong. Yan connects a bullet with your chrome dome. Apparently he doesn't have a chrome dome, and he gets the defuse off. It is going to be 5-3. It looks like they've gotten back in the game. Election winning around very narrowly. That C4 saved the life of anybody trying to swing into the bullets of Monk, as this guy wipes anybody out who gets in his way. Tank and assembly will be our next round on the map, and hopefully it's going to be held better than the last. I'm trying to figure out how to change the orientation of this mic. When you guys do hear this in the chat, just audio checking. Let me know if everything's all good. Taking this basement site is very important, especially when you have a Valk, but has been located, meaning this is going to be a little bit harder to hide these cameras all around the map. And decidedly, you need to get a better place, a better alias for these cameras, because once they're hidden properly, that's free C4 kills, considering you have 2 C4s, and that is plenty for a map where there's only 3 rooms to play Vert on. Habana being the selective pick that we haven't seen all game, hopefully used nice and well. You do have the IGL and the backup IGL on the same roster, EB and Avira on the roster. Avira's going to be doing Avira things, just commanding the team, telling them what to do. Getting the hatch all the way in from spawn, no risk, high reward. 4 pellets do connect, and this hatch will get open. Early engagement on the kitchen allows the bandit to locate. Might be able to get a pre-placed off here if he does wait it perfectly out. Oh, they're just going straight for the gunfights. Deimos is just going for it. Might get C4'd here. We see a C4 about to get ripped. Bandit waiting to get a C4 detonating, but no connections. Would have missed either way. I've never seen anybody stand right next to a vending machine. That's one of the... Oh, that's both C4s gone, actually. And it gives the verticality to anybody trying to sit in a corner. That actually kind of plays in the favor of the attackers here, and they have the IQ, so the cameras don't really matter anymore. The pre-placed is picked up, meaning Valk has gotten herself on the board, and that's almost a double, and it doesn't connect. The attackers actually managed to form a hole in between. Avira making sure nobody bandit tricks, what am I speaking? Make sure nobody impact tricks the hatch, and we're gonna see a hot shot from Monk. Taking a bit of damage, capitalizes on one. This guy has insane map knowledge. You don't want to mess with him when he's on the R4C, because he has 13 next to his name. Avira just playing Vert, EB being the first attacker to go down. Finally a pick in the favor of Election. 2 minutes and 10 seconds into the round, and it all boils down to the last minute where you have 8 bodies alive, and the drones are starting to flood through because it all depends on who can get this next pick. And it's going to be Avira taking care of the Doc, who had 3 stims in the pocket. That's going to be crucial for the late round, and all that depends now is, can we get the plant down without getting denied? No denial on the board, except for the fact that you misthrown the guy in the corner, but you get refragged instantly by Monk. Everybody's running amok around the map. Wide square to flanking so late in the round. But Avira, what are you looking at? You goes down onto the flank. The case is down. Monk needs to stick it. Something needs to happen here, and might be able to just deny. 5 seconds left. All he has to do now is hide, and he gets taken out. There's no way they win this, and it is a 5-4 now. They've managed to close the gap down to just 1. Tactical timeout actually being used. That has to be inspirational, ladies and gentlemen. That is inspirational. I don't know what's more commendable, a team learning how to use their timeouts, or a team that's too ballsy to use them at all. While we wait for the operator selections and the timeout to finish, should have 20 seconds left to just ponder about who should win this. Look at that. I was only off by about a second and 2. We move on to the next round, seeing the mid-site floor. I don't know why everybody loves this warehouse site so much, but it is going to be the next round for us in the books. And we might see an OT round here if nobody can close it out in regulation, as both teams are now struggling to adapt to each other. What we thought was going to be a Vertigo sweep has decided to go south, and they've lost 2 rounds in a row. Monk's been fragging out, doing Monk things on Ash, but they need to get the coordination with the spear entry alongside with their intel operators. We almost see an early engagement here. Who's challenging this? Jan thinks he's Bolo going for that. Almost gets his head chopped off. If Avira was aimed at that a little longer. That 417 is not a weapon that needs to be played around with, as that's 2 bullets to your chest, you're down, or 1 to the head, you're gone. And thankfully, it's gonna stay a 5v5 earlier in the round. I don't like boring rounds, you know? We're gonna have EB already in the building. Again, we got a Deimos main. I've never seen a Deimos main use the Deimos more than 3 rounds in a row. I don't even think I've seen Shaiko do that. But, wow, your main operator has gotten taken off the board, and Yeshua capitalizes on verticality and gets this Ash off guard from the vert and takes out the body, dropping 14 kills and 7 deaths. A 2 KD in the first playoff match is absolutely inspirational. But guess what? Scarfs is here to capitalize. I need to wonder how much ground is actually lost this fast in the round. Electrical is fully Scarfs. For some reason, swings into the Volcan canister, taking a good amount of health, but EB is going to be the next casualty on the list. Warden's playing vert. Jan's off site. It could be an easy swarm, or it could be an easy flank for the Warden if they are aware. But if Squared loses his life here, it's an easy capitalization, but it isn't, as he gets the case, gets the headshot, and they now have a 2-man lead on this team. All they gotta do is wait out the full 1 minute, and it's over. 3 bodies now out of sight. What is going on here? Oh wow, I'm an idiot. The site's downstairs. 1v4. As they were trying to attack electrical, it works against them. Why? Too aggressive in the areas you don't need to get aggressive in is always the formula for disaster, and it does turn into a disaster indeed, as it becomes a 1v4 and you leave your hard breacher with 2 measly flashes to do the job. Jan now going to be the one taking the flank upstairs, take the engagement, but Tag's not even aware. He's looking for electrical. Impacting out from the floor above, looking for a gunfight, but now you have 2 of the defenders centralizing your location and going for it. Good pre-fire, that's map knowledge. Almost gets the second, but who else but Thieves to make it 5-5. All evened up, as we're going to keep seeing Election capitalize on Vertigo's miscoordination. The first pick onto Monk's just absolutely beautiful, to be able to find that body, that singular body, won them the round. You took care of that spear entry for a round, and that just helped them get themselves on the board. And now we might see this go into OT, considering how both teams are swinging at each other. Capcan being the unique pick, and somebody has finally put the Legion shotgun a chance. The thing's broken. It's like 2 bullets and you're gone. But without further being said, we got to see how they want to play this Legion shotgun. Usually he plays an electrical just because of how close quarters it is and how powerful the gun is, both at long range and close quarters. So it all just really depends on how he wants to play. Two Capcans have actually been drones, so he does have to reposition them. 3 is going to be what is going to be needed, and there is an IQ on the board, which is something commendable, how both teams do love using a good IQ, but you got to get it somewhere, and you got to get out of there before they find you, putting them down and take your head off your body. EB right back on that Deimos and will be droning out. And a pre-placed C4 claims the life of Avira. And that was very unfortunate, and I could only imagine the comm to explain how you got your head blown off your body within the first 40 seconds of a pre-placed. The reason you need to clear those valve cameras before the valve cameras clear you. 4v5, and the defenders have the man up advantage. There's not much you can do, but just relax here and just wait. Capcan takes the life of EB. What is the point of bringing an IQ if you are not going to use her? Deimos going down and giving himself up. His ability actually plays to his demise as the death mark locates him going down. Monk, the only lifeline right now to be able to send these guys up around to the match point is the only way they can get something done here. I'm gonna go for a gunfight and he's going to lose it. Yan wins his as well, making it a 1v5. All the defenders have to do is relax as the thermite tag is left again in another place where he has to find his bodies and find an engagement that is not working out in his favor. Wow. Poor guy Tag. Heart feature being left in these situations where he just keeps going down as the last body. It's a flawless round. Election has really turned it around, and it is now match point in favor of them, not Election. Wow, that's beautiful. That's a round of an applause for them. No timeout being called. We're gonna get to the potential last round fairly early, and the same roster keeps being brought. You have two staple operators, which is EB on Deimos, and you do have Monk always playing that Ashe, but it's all about how Avira and Tag can link up together and make something happen. Tag usually on a hard breacher, and Avira usually on a flex operator such as Hibana, Buck. Anybody who can mold the map into an advantage of their own is usually the one that makes something happen, but right now, nothing's happening. It's just mistake after getting a first pick. It's all about the mental chalk and how you play the game properly. And right now, they need to lock in and get it going. But they did manage to take the advantage for quite some time, making it 4-2 and then 5-2 at some point. So I have no doubt in my mind they can win or send this to OT. Little look at the leaderboard as we haven't looked at it all game. Quick sift droning from Monk. He's been very good at just getting in the building and doing what an Ashe main does best. Hit headshots. Asking for the case. They might have a lack of comms there as he's knifing him, asking him for the case. Not, oh, well, whatever. We're gonna walk past that, but having the basement site, something you need to do. It's clear Yesh was valve cameras. They didn't bring an IQ or a Brava this time, which is gonna be painful considering even with an IQ, they struggled to find the cameras before the C4s connected onto them. Again, the first pick goes in towards the defenders. Squared is just soft, is not even soft roaming. He's hard roaming. He's at a site completely. The site's on the basement. He's on the second floor, just doing Squared things. He's capitalized. He's taken out the man himself, Monk, who hasn't been able to get himself on the board for a couple of rounds now. Got his last kill, I think, on Ashe on the basement site where he was walking kids down, but not going to the best of situations. Ying finally taking him out. And Squared is going to be a long-lived fairy tale, but takes some damage off Scarfs and takes out your spear entry. Now it's all left to how can you play around the site and how can you mold certain utility to be able to get yourself around and force it into OT. Tag seems to just be making the play here. He's tired of being left alone and being left last to be dealt with. Abira getting himself on the board. I haven't seen much from him this game, but gets a kill and makes his presence known by taking out Yeshua, who had a C4 in the pocket, actually. Quantrell evening it out pretty soon. Nothing to talk about here, and you have all three bodies in sight as Ying starts tossing down her Yings all the way from the vert. You're gonna have EB doubled up into Animus, and Ying does seem to be rotating over to his location. 46 seconds left on the clock, and you do have two bodies doubled up in Animus and one walking down Cargo. And he is a past fairy tale as he's taken off the board. They're trying to get a plant down, and this is how you play it, and how you play it indeed. The Animus hatch is open, actually. It's not! They didn't reinforce that's a blunder, but it's still a triple kill for Quantrell, and it's still a lot to be done by EB. He gets one. Can he get the second? He either does this or he's gonna struggle with sending them into OT. 1 HP for the Thieves, and can he get a stim? Yes, he can, because they know they have plenty of time on the defuse. And the pre-fire, no connection, no bueno. One has to go for a defuse, one has to go for the swing. And it's going to be the Thatcher going wide, taking one, and it's a loss. Apparently, Yan has better headset, a better awareness of the map, and he sends Vertigo home for the first round of the playoffs. Map 1 goes in the favor of Election off of a crazy comeback. What a crazy first game, ladies and gentlemen. Let me get myself back in this hoe. Wow. I don't know what we can say except for GG's to both teams. That was a beautiful first game. But guess what? The best out of 3. You're stuck with me for a little bit longer as we're going to move on to our next map after a 5-minute swift break. We will be right back, ladies and gentlemen. little bit of a stutter there from the stream, but what a first game. A crazy comeback that really just put both teams really on the map here, on the board. But I think Cafe is going to be a very difficult map for both the attackers and the defenders. So I do think this is going to be a great game indeed. And without further ado, let us get into this map. But shortly, as we start it, let's take a look at the map. Now, as I do get set up for my standing cast, let's just wait a second while these bans do start coming through, ladies and gentlemen. Now, Vertigo do really need a round here because without one, they're going to go home nice and early in the playoffs. Right now, Election, crazy comeback to get that map. And I think now, if we do take a look at the map vetoes, are they playing that map on their singular pick? They did not pick Cafe. They won their own map, barely. Hopefully, they can win their own and they can manage to just send Vertigo home nice and early. But it's all if, buts, and maybes if they don't capitalize nice and early. Now that looks like a target ban on their own. We've seen Yeshua absolutely pummel the other team by using this Valkyrie. The C4s were just absolutely everywhere. And with a map that's actually softer than Nighthaven on the floors, I would think we take it out. And I thought it correct because absolute pain in the ass to deal with, both upside down in the kitchen site and up on the third floor. But Pulse will be brought instead. Our first sight, our first sight for either the last map or the comeback season will be mid-floor raiding room. Now, this is probably practiced a bit more than you would think. Cafe is a very bluffing map. Some people hate it because of how complex the map actually is, and some people love it because of how you can mold it to your liking. Now, Mira being banned, you have to work around that, but you do have squared on souls for a reason. Ever since her nerf, she can actually use her drone locator before the round actually starts, which I still think was a pretty stupid nerf, but very annoying to deal with. And she will be on the board to find utility and utility only. Quick little prep from the Solus is actually going to be the perfect candidate for a run out on this, because you can check if there's a claymore and then just run out nice and casually. But the only default is if anybody hops up on this generator, your head is going to be taken off your body very fast and very easily. Pulse is going to be there as well. Pulse and Solus duo is not something I was expecting to see today. Habana has been brought. I actually don't know why. I can't say I know what the strategy is. Ademos has used his first death mark to find Squared's whereabouts. Yeshua has taken his first engagement on the Ash on top red. Monk, a very known headshot demon, as of like 20 minutes ago when I just started casting him. Never seen him before in my life, but certainly left a lasting impression, and all he does is go top rank on his first match. That's Aura. Yon taking heavy amounts of damage from the R4C from Ram on the park window. Rotates off, and Scarfs will be the first to get on the board. EB being the second, getting a capitalized kill on Yon. Oh my god. It's just election with C4s. It's their favorite thing to do, and they get themselves on the board by finding Eevee's feet and blowing him off his body. Evened out now as Avira almost manages to capitalize, but Scarf just swings in and gets the refrag instantly. It's a 3v2. Body falls down the hatch. Quite disrespectful, and into the laundry basket it goes. No more C4s left, but Twitch, DMR versus DMR. Who's gonna win it? You managed to get each other just the same amount of HP. And Thieves has to find something here, because he's going to be put in a situation where he has to deal with the guys coming up and the guys coming down. And he's gonna have to deal with Avira here. And he's gonna drone, meaning this is going to be a very interesting engagement, as Hibana does not have breaches, meaning she has to go back up. It's all quiet right now on the western front for Yeshua, but he needs to make something happen, as Pulse is going to be put in a situation where he has to deal with a hell of a lot of utility, and the swing out is going to lead to him off of site with no C4, allowing anybody to just drop into sight and make it a no man's land, and it will be Scarves to do that indeed. 3 kills on the board for him. He's been making it absolutely critical for him to just walk in and take gunfights, and if I'm not mistaken, the double up there is actually castled off. Taking a full run up, and they will be getting the diffuser down. Meanwhile, Thieves is just relaxed on the other side of the map. Trying to find something on the vert here, but I mean, he's completely isolated from the other team. Finds the Ram, but the Ram finds him, and the headshot from Tag gives the first round to Election, seeming much more confident in the last game. And hopefully they can keep that up and send it to a map 3. But meanwhile, we're going to use the first timeout of the game, which is crazy, considering it's been literally a singular round. The frame glitches and the PC ping glitches are just so dreadful to deal with, especially in a league match. Hello, everybody. Just gotta get all this out your way. Waiting now for your 5th and final defender to join back. We could talk about how Election is already coming out swinging. Now, that's something to speak about. Very important, but the interesting service of sites could have been a factor to the reason why they lost that round, because I've never seen anybody effectively go up reading first and actually win it without the Mira in hand. So it was interesting. They didn't go for the traditional cigar crouch holes across and use the shield and the deep freezer. But again, it's to each team their own. And I guess we are going to rehost, ladies and gentlemen. I apologize for the delay, ladies and gentlemen, but that's all important is that we're back. Interesting first round, and we're going to see kitchen as the first floor. We have to hit a little rehost, so the custom names will not be on the board, as that takes too long for me to switch onto my PC and do all that skedaddly tomfoolery. But all that matters is we're still here, we're still casting, so let's get it through.
Attackers need to locate and defuse as many bombs as they can. Bomb located by attackers.
We are going to be seeing that freezer extend where they place the shield on the end of the hallway and just deny anybody trying to walk in through. So hopefully we're going to see it a little bit better. That reading room was a little bit hectic, but not in a good way, as it proved unfortunate. Maybe not to extend with the shield, because they're not gonna put the feed holes on freezer.
10 seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Activate channel. Attackers objective is to defuse the bomb.
Yawn will be your singular roamer alongside with the Vigil. A little bit of a little duo roam action. Hopefully they can make it count. Square taking some early damage off the double window outside. Almost led to his demise, actually. And you also have the clamps from everybody on the rappel ram playing early vert as well. Square left a ways away from sight, and there's no castle on the board to trap any of the attackers out. So once they get the ball rolling, if they get that first pick, it is over. If the defenders don't realize what's gonna happen, Scarfs is just a demon on the 417. It's just like a headshot magnet for him. Monk gets fried by Yeshua and gets refragged almost instantly. Don't know why you would run away, give your back to the guy that's hunting you down, but Legion deciding to run away as Amos is hunting your ass down, and he's going to choose life. Attacker bottom freezer as well, leaving the Legion trapped in VIP. He needs help, and he needs help now. Crosshair placement, what a little bit of late reaction from Avira here. Saw his body, but completely left it. You saw that Amos walking down, didn't take the gunfight, and it pays advanced against you. And they managed to keep it close with the refrags here for both teams. Really commendable for both sides. Scarfs might be able to actually catch this Melusi off guard as she keeps running back and forth. Thieves here with the ability of just tossing a C4 over Whiskey, and there's no connection as it actually barely misses, and Namel's gonna go straight for a gunfight and rotate over to the rotation head holes. One on the verticality, but Namel's gets picked off, and now is just a point where the defenders just need to relax. The walls are double reinforced, no bakery rotate, so it leaves sight to be a little restricted and not flowy as much, meaning you can't flow back into sight if the diffuser goes down in a deep freezer or in the deep corners. Ram might be able to actually see him. Poor positioning by Thieves leads to his death, and that will be absolutely stressful now for Election. Squared, capitalizing one, but gets refragged instantly by Scarfs. Seeming like the very consistent player right now. 3 kills in the last round, 2 in the present, 5-0 now. He's doing well. He's doing well. Vertigo finally looking alive. This is starting to look beautiful.
Attackers need to locate and defuse as many bombs as they can.
We go back up. We're gonna see the 3rd floor for the first time this game. Now, I love watching people play this site when they adapt to the fact that they have no Mira. Now, it doesn't show up on your bans for some reason, considering it is a rehost, so the considered bans are not going to be on the board. But I want to see how teams play this. I've never seen this before. What is this? All right, now see, this is what I mean. We're in for interesting setups, and that's the best part about Siege. You get to see how teams adapt around this, and I think that's actually kind of cool. Now, considering it is a rehost, I will bless your faces with the bans in just a second. Should be able to see the bans on your screen in just a second here. And we are going to see a hold, of course, with the Azami, because what else? And there is going to be no Flores to find these Kiba barriers. Head holes on the left. I've never seen this before. I've never seen... Whoa, I mean, I guess we're in for a surprise. Head holes on the right. Oh, this is tech. First shotgun does get shut out, and we're going to see Avira being the one to start taking contests, but Jan to be the first to win a gunfight with that DMR of his. So it seems like the DMRs are just a common trend here. Catches Yazami off guard, but no kill. It has a reset from the dock if she can make it successfully alive out. Needing to take a gunfight, and he knows it. And TK's his teammate, but can't even get the refrag. And that's a kill we call in our books a considered kill for the attackers. Even if it doesn't directly come from a gun from the attackers, it still counts. It pressured them into making that mistake. Now, that's what we call an absolute kill, as Scars gets himself on the board with 2 kills, being the first on the Azami, the second on the dock, and it has gone completely wrong again. Now we're seeing why this is Vertigo's map. They're doing beautiful at every turn, and Monk wins his gunfight as well, losing 1 body a minute ago, and now having won 3 ones in a matter of 40 seconds. Going for the repel when no one's there. Site is going to be a Borderlands, considering they have bathroom reinforced. It's going to play into the favor of the defenders, but you have to deal with still so much pressure having all the castle barricades open. Scarfs with another headshot. The guy's just always getting kills. He's on 3 this round. 1 doesn't count in his favor, but he's on a total of 9-0. DMR v DMR. Jan has to isolate a gunfight here, or he's going to deal with the full wrath of every single attacker. Luckily, there's actually no bathroom rotate, which actually kind of plays in his favor right now, but you still have to play against so many damn defenders. But you might be able to actually catch the plant off guard here. You don't capitalize, you miss, and you finally capitalize in the wrong time frame. And now, what the hell? Hops up on the table trying to do a twerk contest on the cocktail and doesn't work out as he goes down. I really don't know what that was. I don't know what the plan was, but a timeout has been requested right after a rehost, which is very hilarious to me, but we go in through. What a game we need to talk about here. Now, it's just so... It's so versatile between both teams. All they're doing is just punishing each other with the way they play. It's just a back and forth match, which is absolutely beautiful in my end, because I would rather that than just absolute boring games where you see one team just pummel through everyone. They're battling for the next spot in the playoffs, and that is the whole point of playoffs. Moving on to Kitchen as our next site.
Attackers need to locate and defuse bombs. Attackers have detected the location of a bomb.
Again, we're not seeing a castle. I don't know why both teams are really avoiding this castle in general, but I guess we'll see if it'll work out. It didn't work out the first time around because the first 2 picks were on your main roamers, which doesn't really fault the castle, but again, it does show the flaw without having somebody to just lock down the site. Scarfs not shying away from using this Twitch again. The man loves his operator, and with rightful deeds indeed. He's been going absolutely crazy on her. It's beautiful for the counters on the Azami. It's beautiful for literally everything you need. And it's been working out perfectly in his favor. Scarves has the nastiest lineup if anybody decides to stand up. Instead of making a rotate, they've just left everything soft. 3 live pings onto Jan, who's going to be their main roamer again. And the head squared. Almost saw the head of the players trying to drop Newbalk, but it is very easy kills because one Jackal track does not mean you find all of the defenders, and you're just going to give Kapkan free reign of the map, but maybe don't go near him or they'll know exactly where you are. Well, they definitely know there's not only a Legion up there now, because I don't know if there was a recent patch that allowed Legion to have a magical C4. Early gunfight. Jan is just making them pay right now with time. Time is so valuable. Yeshua gets one, goes down. Jan goes down. Wow, all your rumors are dead in 5 seconds. What was looking very promising turned to not be, and squared the lone survivor on the roam. They haven't droned him out yet, meaning anybody that hops down pillar here has the easy kill if he stands up and goes for one. He whips and he manages to barely clutch it. Almost gets refragged instantly. Goes for a free fire here. He needs to get out. And can he? He can, narrowly, but you have all of the attackers trying to conform on your location, going for a ping. Scarf's getting hit by a goo mine now, but it's straight gunfights on the pinch, and he goes down eventually as he gets pinched into his own demise. And Mute trying to go for a gunfight, almost getting pre-fired into yesterday, but lives to see another day. And Quentrell is going to move up to double up on the position of this Mute to make sure they do not take control of this long haul. Unfortunately, jammers do not protect you from Jackal tracks, and there is 1, 2 live pings, meaning you are in for a world of actual hell if they can get verticality on you. C4 pushes them off, but it doesn't repel them completely as they want to get you. They're hungry, and they're deciding who's going to go first. If one gets down, it's a 1v2. Can Quentrell manage to punish the guys trying to res? A little bit of a lag spike from both teams. It's a 1, it's a 2, and we almost just seen the craziest clutch known to man. And it's 4-0 for election. They're finally looking awake, and you love to see it. Wow, that might have been almost the craziest clutch ever if you managed to land all of those shots. But they didn't. But guess what? Scarfs has still not died in the pre-host and the post-pre-host. This is kind of crazy as a stat line, considering they were struggling last time. Now they're going absolutely ham on this team. Looks like we are going to go to a map 3 unless we see the greatest comeback of all time. We've seen one before, so we know it's possible.
Attackers have located a bomb.
Now, something I do really love about leagues, playoffs, and mainly just teams that take this game very seriously is the tradition to keep old operators alive. You never really see Pulse being brought anymore, whether it's ranked, casual, T-Hunt, if you will. But the fact that he's being brought so much today just makes me appreciate his use. And I might even start maining him more because of that. I saw him earlier today when I was casting for the Cross League, but it is very loved indeed. Somebody just dropped down the sky. Anybody else hear that? The first kill goes into the hands of EB, and Election just seems to be completely falling apart here. Vigil just got caught. His trills didn't save him enough in time. They know exactly where he is now, meaning these gunfights are going to be very early indeed. He gets taken out very fast. Again, it's only map knowledge, and now Vertigo has actually snapped back into life, meaning I do think we're going to go into a map decider as they're just ripping it up. Yawn giving that lifeline on the first pick, taking out EB, but his job was done. He got the Jackal track and got 1 off the board. Yeshua going down with 3 of the Zoto canisters in the pocket, and Squared got picked off, but Yawn, not more and nothing longer than just a lifeline. He's actually fragging out now, almost gets the 3rd, but who else but Scarf, the guy who hasn't been touched. Wow, hasn't been downed either. Beard goes down shortly after on a crazy contest off that window. I've never seen somebody stick their face out and try to go for that ballsy move, but it did happen. Ball's going for a C4, and that's the only one, but Quantrell gets a double. And Scarfs meets his demise. His first death in almost 7 rounds? Wow. It's a crazy stat line to just think about. Being caught off guard right now, it's going to be a little bit different right here. Verticality has still been yet to be played, and I think Tag is going to stick to old habits. No one's going to go for a flank yet. Pulse is going to use his pulse monitor to try to find him. No heartbeat has been detected yet. Has not found the Ram stationary, actually. Needs to go for an engagement here, and it has to be done early in the fact that there's 45 seconds left. No castle. He could just go for it if he really wanted to. Where is Ram? Ram is just flying and evading this heartbeat monitor. Gets caught going for the site, and now just needs to walk in, balls rotating, and going up the stairs, and that is map knowledge to its finest. Doesn't see Quantrell prone, and finally SinoTwtch has managed to get themselves on the board. Call him a rat, I call him intelligent. He gets the shots, he confirms the kill, and he preemptively avoids an absolute blowout, but still gives them the chance to have a 5-1 lead.
Defenders, protect your bombs from being defused by attackers.
Are we going to finally see a different setup? We do see the shield being put up a little bit more aggressive than possible. They are going to be playing with rotate this time, which we didn't see the last time around. The shield is put up a little bit more aggressive, meaning anything getting tossed in might be able to actually catch it off guard. The ES is here being put on the reinforcement is the reason why you bring a Jaeger or OMI. Hatch getting reinforced avoids anybody from floor banging the Azami. It is looking much more cohesive than the last time around.
10 seconds remaining. 5 seconds left. Attackers are moving.
Nobody on the rappel right now, but I mean, preemptively, you need to bring in a Flores to be able to take out these Azamis, or taking out with the DMR. Scarves right back on that DMR, because why wouldn't he be? He's been doing beautifully on it. Looking for the jammers. One is going to be sitting close on Shaiko. Can Twitch manage to get it? Okay. Scarves burning an insane amount of util right now. 1 jammer, 2 jammer, 3 jammer. Maybe we'll actually find the 4th very soon here. Out of shocks right now, but they're just relaxed. Scarf seems to be humping the top of the door frame, but it didn't really play in his favor. Now they just need to find the Jaegers. Shocks the dog instead of using them to find those Jaeger ADSs. Tries to line up. If he finds that Echo Drone, though, that would be crucial. And he does. Scarfs is just starving the utility right now, looking for any cameras, checking the corners, but there's no Valk. She's banned. Finds this second Yokai. That's no more denial left in this round. Looking for a roamer that they're so certain is here. But there isn't. Sir Squared gets the first kill. Kills him off of cocktail window. Nice and aggressive is something you need when you're down 4-1. Jan gets himself on the board, and maybe I was saying this before. Maybe we're going to see the greatest comeback known to man. Jan gets himself right back up to 100 HP. No bueno. Thieves goes down, but patches himself up like nothing ever happened. Second engagement will be Yeshua versus the Ace. And it will be the Ace that goes down to the dock double team. Jaeger getting himself on the board. 1v5. Put in a world of hurt here. Avira, you can't do nothing about that. And it seems as if they're starting to toss the lead again. You either call a timeout or hope to God your attacks are better than the defenses, because it's 4-2. They didn't take the lead and start sprinting away with it. Hopefully, they can keep it alive, because those last 2 rounds were a little shoddy. They were looking a lot more cohesive in the first 4.
Defenders, protect your bombs from being defused by attackers.
We're back to upstairs, and it's going to be literally the same exact site setup, but no, literally the same exact site setup, except now you have a capsule on the board. Azami surviving the ban phase is just so crucial. Yes, the Valk and the Mira bans are important. The Mira ban is arguably more important than the Azami, but
10 seconds remaining.
the Valkyrie ban, it's just a C4. If you have a Bravo or an IQ, you could counter that, but the Azamis, you either waste magazines that can be used clearly and effectively later into the game, or you have to bring a Florida that can be very easily countered by just shooting it or using a mute jammer. Even when it locks in, when it becomes bulletproof, a jammer is that direct counter to it. Monk playing in trains. Hopefully he doesn't get caught by a drone, because the drone economy for the attackers is all 10 are alive. 0 being brought, meaning it's going to be beautiful if they can manage to get all 5 cameras in without them getting shot, and 0 not going down before that. First can opener gets used to take out the first castle facing Park. Nobody's gonna commit off that run out yet, though. Now taking that gunfight. 0 just ripping down the window for anybody trying to play safe. Azami is protected by her Kiba barrier facing her back, and 0's just back droning. Actually, he's ballsy enough to take the engagement. The question is, can he win it before the attackers drop behind him into Cigar and decides to run away, narrowly escaping death? And I eat my words as he gets shot in the back by Quentrell, just sitting on Cigar windows. Hops in and takes that control. We might see a second engagement here as the Doc is going to walk into bathroom. Avir goes down shortly after, and it's just absolute mayhem all over the site. Tag goes down as well. He needs a stim in desperate need, and 0 was almost there to actually capitalize. Drones and 0 cams are going through. The Argus launcher gets shot out. The Lion scan is used on the first. 1 gets taken out. 0 is still on the rappel, just being that pressure holder. Please don't tell me I have to rehost again. Gridlock taking damage, same with Squared. Monk goes down on a run out. Don't know why he gets so aggressive, but Scarfs gets your instant refrag, and 2 attackers are now below 20. It's not going to be beautiful, but Scarfs can just stim himself and sacrifice, but he takes out the Gridlock first and gets refragged instantly. Not the hardest of guns to win, but Jan is just here to play. Didn't have the best of first maps, but apparently, wow. Blowouts mean nothing when it's not 6-0. As it goes from 4-0 to 4-3. Wow, that's a blunder and a half. Vertigo need to get out of their own minds. It's not going now towards their favor. And we actually might see the greatest comeback of all time. And I do see a freaking disconnect. Why reset in the middle of the game? Why piss everybody off? Even your own team? I don't even know. But we do wait for Jan to come back. But he gets the exception considering he was walking everybody down. Now, it has been a great series so far, and I thought we were going to see a map 3. I hope we see a map 3, but they need to lock in to give me that competitiveness, that lock-in final. Do I have to rehost again? Valiant protests as we wait for these guys to join back. holy rehosts for the day, ladies and gentlemen. Everybody's Xbox apparently was made in 1955 in China, as nobody can manage to keep it working for longer than an hour. And ladies and gentlemen, apparently we have to go back into break is what I have in my ears right now. So sadly, I will see you guys after another goddamn rehost. Now, as their time did run out for a TAC timeout, we are going to be seeing a 4v5 with no rehost, actually. Five bodies on the defense is something they need to take, and maybe this is the lifeline to start getting themselves back on the board. I would be content with having 4 rounds on the board, but I wouldn't be content with having 4 rounds on the row and then just losing them 3 times. Now, it's not impossible to actually lose a 4v5, but it's pretty hard to win on Cafe. Seems like Bakery is going to be the heavily pushed site. Gonna have a rotate all the way deep. Jammer is going to be the main lifeline to be able to hold the ace gone, but Monty does have to worry about a Melusi. If he throws it at the wall, might be able to shut down the Melusi with an EMP through the ground, but it seems like he's going to be going for a small bake push. He's going to get shot off the wall by the guy sitting on red, and does get shot off indeed. Monty getting aggressive into Bakery now, preemptively walking in. Nobody can walk into prep without getting shot in their feet. Bandit will be using a C4. Wasted a C4 in my opinion, because that surge is going to take him right back up if he does decide to use it, which he does. One more C4 left to do the trick near him. Kate is off, and we are seeing a couple of lags by doing this as the servers, but can't walk in without risking a life. The 2 comms do go. There's one guy sitting behind the chassis, one sitting close on prep, and now we can just see Monty covers so much space. It's a 5v3, a 5v2, and maybe this was the round they needed, having a body down. It's a 5v1. It's most likely going to be a flawless round as Scarfs ends it out for us. Haven't seen much of Scarfs these last 2 rounds. Was going 7-0, and since then he's gotten 2 round kills and died 3 times, meaning it's around a 0.9. But again, he is literally 9-3 and is absolutely invisible on a DMR, so we'll give him a little bit of credit where credit is due. They get that map to finally give themselves that advantage that they so desperately needed.
Attackers need to locate and defuse as many bombs as they can.
We move on to the upstairs site, and we're gonna see the Ying, the Amaro. We're gonna see a rush plan. I have to stand up for this, ladies and gentlemen. My mic will cut out for 22 seconds, or not even 22 seconds. What am I talking about? Give me 5 seconds as I move my mic up so I can cast while standing, ladies and gentlemen. We see the Azami put herself on the board. You see how swift I came back on the board with my mic, but guess what? We're going to be seeing upstairs now being held down by that Kaid, but what was so desperately going to be a rush plant is so sadly converted to just a normal play. That's so depressing. You guys are boring. Azami deciding to still contest for a spawn peek, and it connects! EB, you ballsy bitch. Uses Azami's SMG, the pea shooter from over 60 meters away, onto a Lion with an ACOG on a DMR, and he pays the price. That will be, wow, Quentrell off the board. We see a Mozzie on the board, and he's not roaming, so I question the effects of bringing him, but it is their main hard fragger. I mean, the only person who's been getting himself on the board has been Monk, but not having the best of games. He did drop double digits last, but he gets a little bit of wiggle room, but he does need to pick it up if they do want to go to that next map. They just need to win 1 more round to get to that match point, and another round to send them to that map 3, and Border is a map where anything can happen. And EB gets 2. He's keeping this locked down. The Rotero charges cannot do much. There is still 1 Azami standing, and 2 Kibas are left to regenerate. You can either choose to block off the breach completely, or put one on either of the 2 couches right in front of him. Get shot out from a pixel. Very unfortunate. The speaker does not cover your face, as he removes your face from your body and puts you 6 feet under. 5v3. Not 4v3, my apologies. Not the best of situations for both teams, as it is an area where anything can happen. Mute sitting close on Shaiko is going to be an easy kill, and Tag takes the face off of Yan as he just blasts him away into yesterday. Monk getting beamed off of the vert from the Jackal. We're going to see another interesting gunfight here. If the Mute hasn't moved off of Shaiko, he might be vulnerable to a kill if the Jackal does decide to start hopping up. Playing for it on the Mute, pushes him off, and he's actually going to start contesting it. Ballsy from the Mute. I praise it. Getting stimmed up, right back to 100 HP. The Mute is all mended up like nothing happened, and Squared and Thieves are put in a situation where they have to clear so much utility in so little time. 30 seconds left on the clock, and there's just so much to do. And dealing with a shotgun, both slug and buckshot are still very painful to deal with. 3 Jackal tracks, a smoke, and 3 breaches to deal with. I would probably use a drone here, but the jammers are covering a lot of space. Siege timing at its finest. He's holding the angle for so long and just decides to let it go for an angle. And that's when the Mute decides to swing it. And Thieves gets pre-fired into yesterday. And it seems as if that rehost really made them click things in off of that advantage. What was a blundered 4-3 loss. They had 4 rounds up and they lost 3 in a row. Seems to be something of a reawakening, as we're going to move into 6-3 match point, which means we either are going to see the greatest comeback to force into OT, or we're going to shortly go into our next map, being Border. The only map we are going to see today that is only 2 floors and basically has like 6 rooms, as everybody in the pro scene does not like the damn map.
Attackers need to locate and defuse bombs.
Our potential last site is going to be Reading Room. What was held pretty horribly the first time around by election could be the potential safe haven for Vertigo to be able to send themselves to that next map. And I would be a very happy camper if we seen a full series finally go to all 3 maps. We're gonna see EB now on Mozzie. What is up with these Mozzie mains coming back? Is he just suddenly making a comeback to PC and console? You don't see him as much in the pro scene on PC where I'm casting usually, but he's being seen a little bit more just generally being brought to rosters. Are important to get in the clutch drone. Doesn't have enough time to fill all of those bars to be able to hack the first Banshee. Now, either gonna have to go back and get it or save this clutch drone for another passenger. Baiting the C4. One more hit till that castle's fully up. Brava's not using a Claymore, and the first pick goes to the person who can give you the best verticality. That is going to be Jan, and Yeshua evens it out very shortly after, taking out Scarf. So EB on the board, Yeshua gets 2, and EB from the board to under the ground, and he makes it a 3v4. Yeshua knows how important it is to win this round and the next followings, but again, everything points to a map 3. What a shot by Monk as he turns around swiftly, takes out one. Quentrell onto Monk, tag on the Quentrell. It's absolute mayhem on the 3rd floor without even getting near the site. Avira's just chilling in mining room. Tag making the right decision to conserve himself and his C4 and go back to site. His shotgun could kill literally Yeshua from any distance. Thieves is going to be playing Vert with Breacher with 1 left. He could get caught off guard here with a C4. Now, Thieves is the lifeline, being the case carrier, the one with a Selma in the pocket, and the Holy Grail AK-12 in the pocket. Now, Avira's going to be positioned himself closely into Pillar, meaning if Thieves decides to get ballsy and drop without droning, it's going to be a very swift and easy kill. The drone is flying in through every single crevice, and that is the difference between good droning and bad droning, but he's already down. Make a rotate. Make a rotate. You don't have to take the gunfight, Avira. Going for the plant is basically an ISO. It's an ISO. You have the ability to just throw a C4, but you're going to throw it too late. But the ace is going to walk right into it. And it's going to be a 1v2 where the Gridlock's at 2 HP, maybe less, but they're all taking damage from the Gridlocks, but it doesn't matter. They know what they need to kill her. They need to kill her fast. 30 seconds left. You need to ISO the ones. You need to get something going. And Avira put in a situation where he just needs to delay, and it's going to be over. But Gridlock's going to be going for him. Can't run to him fast enough. It's going to be Twinkle Toes. And Vertigo finally win a map. And we're going to go over to map 3, ladies and gentlemen. And ladies and gentlemen, your favorite host. I'm here. We're gonna get into map 3. Now, I can't stress this enough. It's been basically 50-50. Each team has won their own map to their own at their own expense. They managed to do what they need to do when they want to do it and how they want to do it. So, without further ado, we're gonna move on to that next map and make sure you stay tuned, drop a follow. We already know what's gonna go on. And as we go, we're gonna start and let us take a look at the map that is ahead of us for the day, ladies and gentlemen. Wow, this is gonna be a great game. I'm so damn excited, ladies and gentlemen, and you should be too, as we're gonna be moving into map 3, the map that decides it all. And both teams have battled a good amount to be here, and I respect both of them because it's just beautiful on each side and how everybody has been playing. So, without further ado, let us stay a little silent and let them take care of their bans and get business where business needs to be done. We see the first preemptive 3 bans being Dokkaebi, Kapkan, Blackbeard. Very staple, very normal for a map such as this. Wow. Well, I'm excited because, honestly, you don't see much of this gameplay on a map like Border. A lot of teams just like to ban it just because of how annoying it really gets, especially for teams that do not want to deal with a Call of Duty map, they like to call it. It's compressed, it's easy to get easy gunfights, and you can just rush. Not the best, not the worst.
Attackers need to locate and defuse.
And ladies and gentlemen, we are on the clock. We are back, and we move on to the next round. Sorry for that mic. Weird. Ugh. Well, we forgot to run an ad, so you guys are going to get slapped with an ad in 2 minutes and 50 seconds. So when that does hit, make sure to swipe up if you're on your phone, close the app completely and reopen it for a complete avoid of the app. And if you are on a laptop or PC, download an ad blocker or just close the tab and wait 1 minute. If you watch the ads, it helps me financially, but who the hell cares? So let's get it going. That's my apologies for forgetting to run that during the prep. I'm usually never casting a BO3, and it finally goes to the full 3. Seeing as it is a first round run of the bathroom site, and they do have a KYANITE on the board. The can openers and the EMPs link up from EB and Tag does allow them to get that necessary utility to be able to open up the breach without having to deal with any complications. Scarf's right back on that 417 like he never left, but Yeshua is here for that first kill all the way over in bottom west main, gets a kill, and this goes right back up. The only objective of being a roamer on this map is to waste time and just be a thorn in every attacker's side, make them second guess every corner they turn. But apparently for Squared it means run out and get a kill as a Vera goes down, EB goes down, your Deimos and your IQ, the person that can locate any type of utility, has now been wiped off the board like they never existed, and now they will take assuming camp position in customs. Shoots the only person pushing it from detention, and it will just be EB and Squared now teaming up to keep this nice and locked down. Monk is now taking a good significant amount of damage considering Ash is only a 100 HP operator, but will be the one committed now to be playing Vert. No C4s to worry about except for an impact or two. That could do enough damage to take him out if they both directly land on him. Soft roams around the map to allow all of the attackers to just get into position, but being down 2 bodies is still not the best of positions to be in, especially on the final map on the first round. But Yeshua is just absolutely wrecking the attackers from above. Is just like an absolute madman, but Scarfs links back up with Monk. Considering he has absolute pains to deal with, you're just still gonna have squared position. Absolutely nothing to worry about in customs, and everybody else, they're just waiting. They have 2 bodies up, there's 35 seconds left, and it seems like a round that would be confirmed for election. Wallbang actually almost connects. If he held on the magazine, would have been a confirmed kill. But what is a confirmed kill is Yawn swinging. It is going to be seeing the pre-fire of hell, landing with 1, dealing damage to the second. But 10 seconds just means you gotta deal with so much more than one person, because you take a shotgun shell, a goo mine, and a TCSG to the face, and there's no way one man, especially one of the weakest operators in the game, can handle all of that. Round 1 goes in the favor of election as they get themselves on the board. Ventilation. It seems as if election is just completely avoiding the second floor, and I would too if I was on a map such as Border. The map allows you to get vert from below, allows you to clear the utility, because there's only utility to be played in one place, and that is security and security only.
Bomb located by attackers.
We've been seeing a lot more Solus on the clock recently, so hopefully she's going to be utilized in a recent way that will allow her to be useful in a manner. Seems as if they need some vert to be going, but they don't have it. No one's switching on to Ram. They're going to bring the Nomad, but they're still going to rely on the breach charges coming in from Monk to be able to play the vert. No verticality. They're not going to go for it. They're just going to go for a clear, but the vert is going to be made by the necessary players upstairs to watch the plants. But Vigil getting aggressive with a spawn peek with the boss G, because again, all you got to really do is just hit 1 or 2 shots, and it's game over for anybody walking in the receiving end of it. First engagement is Scarfs, who beams Yawn off of top east as he now rotates to break room via overhang, but sadly doesn't live to see another day. The question is, what's going to happen first? Are the defenders going to be able to get him up, or are the attackers going to get the drones in to be able to find him before he's able for a res? And the question has been answered. It will be the former, as the attackers now know what will be happening, but gives a perfect opportunity for the defenders to bait, and that's what we're going to see here, as we're going to see the Deimos cross and try to get the gunfights here, the engagements, as he runs to get that gunfight. Beats him perfectly. Goes back down. They know the res is practically impossible, but they managed to starve a kill off of it. Squared, now stuck in Passport, and he's actually going to get rezzed? How in the world do the attackers allow this to happen? You could have finished him off via Ash Charge, via Twitch Shocks, anything. But no, successful bait and a successful kill, and one of the most broken operator utilities during the actual round is going to be allowed to live to see another day. But Monk not playing any games as he takes out Yeshua. No more roamers going to be on the clock, but you are going to have Scar trying to engage in gunfights through archives. But you have 2 of the most powerful shotguns just waiting to be on your front doorstep. So anybody walking in your crosshairs, if you can line up that shot and hit it center mass, it's going to be a beauty of a shot. Disconnect for the 3rd time. Jeez Louise. Second kill is going to go in the hands of that shotgun. I told you, it goes in through the ground actually and gets a kill. It's going to be 50 seconds left on the clock in a 4v2 situation. Vertigo's going to be struggling here. Quentrell narrowly survives death, but can't say the same for Thieves. Tag capitalizes and takes him out, but Tag is the only attacker left in a sun in an ocean filled of defenders who have no priority to get him, really. They're all camping out in a corner. And Jan, who should have been taken out so much earlier in the round, is actually going to be in another world. But shotgun engagement. All he has to do really is sit in a corner.